The year 1215 marked a turning point in English history. At a meadow by the River Thames called Runnymede, a group of rebellious barons forced King John to place his seal on a document that would echo through the centuries, Magna Carta. Though it was born out of crisis, this great charter became a cornerstone of constitutional government, not just in England, but around the world. At its heart, Magna Carta was a practical solution to a political emergency. King John had angered his barons with heavy taxation, military failures, and arbitrary rule. They demanded a check on royal power, and Magna Carta provided it. The charter laid out rights and protections, that the king could not levy taxes without consent, that justice must not be sold or delayed, and that no free man could be imprisoned without due process of law. Although King John quickly sought to overturn the charter, and the Pope even annulled it, the ideas it contained proved remarkably resilient. Successive monarchs were forced to reaffirm and reissue Magna Carta to maintain the loyalty of their nobles. Over time, its clauses were reinterpreted, repurposed, and remembered. While many of its provisions were specific to the 13th century, its symbolic power endured. Out of this struggle came something new, the gradual birth of Parliament. The early kings had long summoned councils of nobles and clergy to advise them, but now those councils began to take on a more formal political role. In 1265, Simon de Montfort, a rebel noble, called what is considered the first true English Parliament, inviting not just lords, but also commoners from towns and counties. Though his rebellion was ultimately crushed, the idea of broader political representation took hold. By the reign of Edward I in the late 13th century, Parliament became a regular fixture of governance. Edward understood the value of involving the realm's leading figures in decisions, particularly when it came to raising money for war. He summoned what would become known as the Model Parliament in 1295, including knights, burgesses, clergy, and nobles. It wasn't democratic in the modern sense, but it was a step toward a more consultative government. Parliament gave voice to grievances. Petitions became law. Debates were held. The king remained the supreme authority, but he was no longer the sole actor. The foundations of representative government were being laid, brick by brick, through conflict and compromise. Yet this progress was far from smooth. Power